What's up, everybody? In today's video, he's gonna talk about his very own 4 C's of parenting, which as his own child, I can guarantee that you're gonna wanna hear what he has to say about them. So stay tuned.
So as Kaia said, actually long before we ever had Kaia, I came up with what I call the 4 C's of parenting. And the 4 C's of parenting are a really simple but extraordinarily effective way for you to help guide your children through life. Remember, no matter what happens in life, our goal as parents is to teach our children. And if we want to teach our children, then it's crucial for us to do these 4 things. Are you ready for them? You think they're ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. So I think parenting can be challenging enough. After all, we're responsible for these things right here. We want to make sure that we take care of them in the best possible way. So because parenting can be difficult as it is, I wanted to make my 4 C's as simple as possible. And as any parent out there knows, even if you've only been a parent for a couple hours, you understand that there is a big difference between understanding parenting here and getting parenting here. So the first C is choices. In life, we always want to give our children choices because guess what? Guess what, Kaia?
What?
You always have a choice. No matter what happens in life, our children always have a choice. I can hear some parents out there saying, no way, if I say it, it goes, there's no choice. But actually, there is a choice, even if you choose not to listen to me. But if you choose not to listen, what do you think comes next?
The second C.
A consequence. No matter what happens in life, there are always consequences to every choice we make. Whether or not those consequences are positive or whether or not those consequences are negative, the fact is that there are always consequences to every choice we make. So as parents, I believe it's our job to help our children learn very early on that yes, they have a choice in anything in life, but whatever they choose definitely comes with a consequence. Now, choices and consequences are cool, but they really wouldn't go very far if there wasn't the third C. Do you know what the third C is?
Consistency?
That's it, consistency. You see, it doesn't matter if we give choices and consequences. If we're not consistent, we're only teaching our children that we're not really credible people. See, we all start off with about this much credibility with our children, but every time we say we're going to do something and then we don't, we actually take away our own credibility. And so when we're consistent, we're teaching our children that we're going to follow through with whatever we say. So for example, let's say that I say to you, Kaia, if you do that, you're going to lose TV for 2 days. And then what are you going to do? You're going to be upset, right? What if you started begging me to have it back?
Please, please, please.
And if I gave in after 1 day and thought, okay, I'll give in, what am I teaching you?
That if I beg, I'll get what I want.
Exactly. When we're not consistent, we're teaching our children to keep doing the very behaviors that we don't want them to do. But when we are consistent and we follow through with what we say, we teach them that we are people of our word. And that's an important lesson for our children to have. So, choices, consequences, consistency. Do you have any idea what the 4th C is?
Compassion.
Yes, it's compassion. That's it. That's awesome. The 4th C is compassion. In a meta-analysis of parenting styles all over the world, they found that the #1 parenting skill across all cultures was love. The more we give our children love, the more they're able to flourish. Compassion. We give our children choices. There are consequences. Consistency, we've got to follow through, but above all, we want to have compassion because our main job is to teach our children. If we scream at our children and intimidate them, we're only going to produce them to be fearful. But if our job is to teach them, not intimidate them, then we don't want them to be fearful. We want them to be confident. And to be confident, we want to do it with love, with compassion. choices, consequences, consistency,
and compassion.
the 4 C's of parenting. The more you do these 4 C's, the more effective you'll be as a parent and the more loving your household will be. Man, I love having my daughter in any videos with me because she truly is my life. Listen, when it comes to parenting, I know there is a whole lot more to say about those 4 C's. This is a very brief video. So yes, I'm going to continue to put out videos to explain each of those 4 components more and more in depth every week. So stay tuned. But as a quick review, choices, consequences, consistency, and compassion. And I just want you to start to sit with those 4 concepts. And the more you sit with them, the more you can really begin to embrace them. Living by the 4 C's really affords you the ability to not lead with anger and intimidation and violence, and instead allows you to educate. Look, we all want the best for our children, and by following the 4 C's, we can be firm. A lot of people think that we can't have discipline unless we're yelling and hitting and spanking and all that stuff. But you absolutely can have discipline by being consistent. The more consistent you are, that is discipline. The more you give consequences. The more your consequences are reasonable, the more they teach your children to be prepared for the real world. Your children will face the inevitability that once they leave home, yes, they have complete freedom to choose anything they want in life. But those choices come with consequences. And the more we teach them early on that we're going to be consistent, we're going to follow through with what we say, the more secure they can feel that, yes, when I make a choice, there's going to be a consequence. And once they truly get that lesson, it sets them up for a lifetime of success. As I said, I'm going to do a lot of videos that really go much more in depth to the 4 C's, but let me just give you a real quick example of what they might look like in action. So let's say that you're at a dinner and your child continues to act up at the dinner table. You might say, listen, you have a choice. You can choose to keep acting up like this and lose television for tonight and tomorrow, or you can choose to not, in which case you'll be able to watch TV tonight and tomorrow. Now, let's say your child continues to act up. Immediately, boom, that was his or her choice, and the consequence is no TV tonight or tomorrow. Now look, I understand that not allowing your child to watch TV tonight or tomorrow makes it a little bit more difficult on you. Of course, yes, it's going to take much more effort on your part up front initially, until your children learn that whatever you say, you mean. Once your children know that whatever you say you mean, it actually makes your life significantly easier. But if you give in, you're only teaching your children that eventually all they have to do is beg or ask or whine or complain enough, and then eventually they know you're going to give in, which then teaches them that as a strategy for how to get what they want. So again, choices, you have a choice. You can choose to continue to act up or not, but if you do, you're not going to get TV tonight or tomorrow. Consequences, taking away the TV for tonight and tomorrow. Consistency, no matter what happens, you take it away. Compassion, I'm not mad at you and I love you, and I can see that you're really disappointed in yourself for that decision, but it's my job to teach you, and so I'm doing this for your own good. And the more you explain that to your children, the better off they are. Look, children with the lowest self-esteem have no rules and no consequences. Children with higher self-esteem have rules and consequences. But the children with the highest self-esteem have rules, consequences, and explanations. In other words, they understand why you're doing what you're doing. They understand their world. And aren't we preparing our children for the world? So again, choices, consequences, consistency, and compassion. The more you do it, the more you put in the work up front, the easier things will be down the road.
Hey, if you like this video, why not hit the like button down there? And my dad makes videos every week, so why not subscribe to the channel? Also, if you found this video to be helpful to you or could be helpful to someone you know, share it with your friends. I wish you much peace.